Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel where we talk anything and everything SEO. And today we are rolling back to your favorite topic, which is Parasite SEO. And we have got a guest that is very experienced with this technique. Txema, welcome to our channel.
Thank you, Ivana. It's a pleasure as usual.
So if you missed it and you don't know what is Parasite SEO for some strange reason, like you are living under a rock, it is abusing a strong website. This website already exists for years. It has got the history, it has got the links, it has got all the soft metrics. And you just go there as a little parasite, you attach to it, and you rank faster. That's a short explanation, but obviously we will get Txema to explain it to us nicer because he's the expert here. And as well, Txema, in your words, what is Parasite SEO? Is it worth it? And how are the strategies changing? Because it is around for a while, and I see it evolving all the time. So where do you stand on this?
Well, normally there is a bit of a misconception of what is exactly called Parasite SEO. And I normally explain this to, like, same as for me, all the techno music is techno music. And then my nephew tells me, like, oh, but this is hardcore, this is popcore, this is, but for me, everything is the same. So for most people, they call every kind of new black hat strategy Parasite SEO, but there's very different styles. One is the classical Parasite SEO, which is a folder or a type of content section in a website dedicated to a totally different niche. However, this big website has a big authority, and you put a folder with all your content dedicated to a different niche, to a different topicality, and you experience a great rankings due to the authority of the main website, while you are publishing content that is not really related to the main topicality of that website. There is another style or strategy, which is the repurposed domains. So basically, you purchase a domain which has long life in the past, a lot of backlinks. Let's say it could be like a law firm which has a lot of links from government or legal entities linking to that. It could be like a health institution, like an old website for an hospital, and you change totally the topicality. You put casino pages, and still you have those links. So you will either redirect the links, or you will move the link equity. You will remove all the internal links, and while you keep the old content, you can just send the link equity towards your money casino pages. So you will be having, in the end, a domain which is completely dedicated to something different than the original purpose of the domain. This is called the repurposed or expired domains.
Yeah, and as well, you can do it with canonicals. I see it a lot that you buy a expired or repurposing a domain, and then, as you said, you put a casino there to something that was previously something else, and you can actually do canonicals because they carry a lot of weight these days, and we all know that. We all see the abuse, but thank you for the explanation. So which one is your favorite? Do you have favorite out of this, or are you not going to share with us?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, my favorite is not doing Parasite SEO, but unfortunately, Google has enforced us old school SEOs to do it, because otherwise, these Parasite SEO strategies, they outrank you and they rule the SERP. So either you join the strategy, or it's very, very difficult to beat them. I would say in the past, the standard subfolder strategy, the Parasite SEO as it was conceived, it was much stronger, and it was a bit more similar to the way I like building SEO, which is building a site with a structure, even though you build it in a specific subfolder of a news website or a sports website, and then you just build a betting section. But you build a whole structure, and still you keep it as a long-lasting website. You make it grow, you optimize from a technical SEO point of view, you enforce to use structured data, you can work with crawl budgets, etc., try to increase it, publish blog content to try to win authority on topicality. However, a couple of years ago, Google already introduced the site reputation abuse penalty. And while first cases took them like 6 months to be detected and to put down these websites, every new month, every new update, Google is becoming faster and faster in detecting these subfolder strategies and taking down those sites. So at the moment, that strategy, which it would require a big investment because you need to purchase a big site or pay rights for that subfolder and generate a lot of content, build a big website, even do a link building strategy, is no longer delivering that big results as the investment that they require. So lately, what it's becoming a bigger trend or easier to do is the repurposed domain. In this case, you just buy a domain from some auction, not from their legitimate owner, and you put your content there. You wait until you spam it with links, and you inject some traffic. You do some naughty stuff, and the investment is much smaller, so it will give results in weeks, in months. And if in a couple of months it gets penalized, then the investment wasn't that big, so you can just move on all your asset to the next project and continue like that.
So basically what you're saying that Parasite longevity is becoming shorter and shorter because Google is trying to fight it. We know they said, because May 2024 saying, look, enough is enough. We're going to start to fight it. So the life cycle is getting shorter, right? What would you say is the longest one that we can count with and the shortest one we can count it? Can it be found out in weeks, or do we actually have months?
I mean, it depends. As I said, few years ago, I remember like big parasite sites like Wikipedia, they lasted for a couple of years. Nowadays, from my experience, if you don't do it very organic, which is, it will be a very non-aggressive strategy. So yes, you purchase a website that is dedicated to sports and you put a betting section, but always building betting news, not just money pages, etc. You can last the cycle. I mean, possibly if you do it very, very good, it could last forever because it will not be entirely doing site reputation abuse. Same as if you create, if you have a gambling news website and you start adding information about best casinos, about best slots, that could last forever. But the moment you want to get bigger results and you want to go more aggressive, at the moment, I think these classical subfolder strategies of just putting in a news website some casino content or some affiliate content of anything totally not related could last up to 6 months, something like that. If you're doing site authority abuse, the longer you start ranking, the longer Google will spot an eye on it. But obviously, at the moment that you start getting some results and return on investment, after 6 months, even earlier, I normally see penalties on a specific folder, or it could even expand to the whole domain. I mean, I once had a client who they created a folder, they decided they were penalized on that folder, but the rest of the domain wasn't. So they decided, let's just migrate this folder to a new folder with a different name, but exactly the same content, redirect all the links and everything. And they did that a couple of times, getting another penalty, and finally the whole domain, which it wasn't theirs entirely, it was just a hired folder, was penalized, and now it has been de-indexed for almost a year. So very risky, and as I said, um, quite expensive because it requires a lot. Now, if you do the more aggressive strategy, the repurpose domain, just buying an asset, change all the content or change all the link equity, you can keep the old content, but just direct all the links, remove the header and the footer, and just put 3 or 4 links to your money pages. That could bring results in days, in weeks, and it could last as long as an auditor takes to find it. Or I mean, probably you, me, I do it. I've been reporting websites like this because I don't feel it's nice, like, to have a mental health institution and then linking and then offering casino content. We know kids health institutions promoting casino content. And so if you report it to Google, if SEOs report it to Google, if just your competitors go to your sites and they report them to Google, Google will take notice of this, and manual auditors will be checking. And as I said, it could last from 1 day to a couple of months. But normally, the moment you start doing aggressive strategies, injecting links, obviously spam links, I'm not talking about the typical backlink guest posts we do, in 2 months, it will be sunken. So normally the strategy is the day you publish one website, you start preparing the next one, and then prepare everything to be redirected in the appropriate way, obviously.
Yes. So first of all, you rank fast, which means, I mean, we all tried it. We all built websites from scratch. It takes months to years to actually rank for big keywords. It does. So if you can outrank it, I see why people would do it, and I see why they would be aggressive, obviously. But it still takes strategy, and I think this is what people forget, that it needs to be on website that can rank, and as well we can tolerate it on, because as you said, I am allergic to church abuse or children abuse and all of this. It's do your Parasite, but there are certain things you shouldn't cross. And first, compliance rule, we don't touch children, right? Like, that is just nasty. So yes, if I find this, obviously I report it. But if I find something technology and there is Parasite, I actually don't mind it. Technology or news, it's meant for adults. If they want to buy tobacco because it's promoted there or play casino, be my guest, your money. But it still takes strategy. And I think the strategy for Parasite is many times forgotten. People just think, oh, I'm going to place this here and I'm going to rank tomorrow. It's not true, is it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, just buying a domain with a good authority will not bring you that. I mean, you need to do a perfect combination. And normally, for a specific project, I do like 4 or 5 different websites. I test strategy A, strategy B, strategy C, D, E, and normally only 2 spaghettis stick to the wall, and the other 3 they don't. For the rest, then I will recycle and keep the domain, but try a different strategy next time when the previous one it's kind of penalized or doomed. So you need to do a perfect combination of link building from proper entities, good links with a bit of anchor text variation, and then you need to do every sort of black hat strategies you can do, from tricking tools, like augmenting the domain rating, injecting artificial traffic, injecting thousands of links with a specific anchors, all of them the same. And sometimes there is this randomness, which I don't like, because our job used to be a bit more creative, but nowadays SEO, it's a bit random. Like, yeah, I injected 2,000 links from a French website into a Serbian website, and that ranks. But if you do it in links in Spanish to a Spanish website, suddenly it doesn't work, and you say, why? It shouldn't be like a topical geographical connection, but sometimes the algorithm of Google got so complex that they don't understand it themselves. Since the that update, helpful content, everything was doomed, and they don't understand what exactly they did. So all these strategies, they may work and they may not, but it's very important to do some A/B testing and test and error. So whatever works, definitely you keep it, you replicate it, and whatever doesn't, you need to know how to recycle and still keep those domains active in the future. And it's I think it's also quite important when you are planning to do this. Get the idea that Google keeps rolling and updating month over month. I mean, it's not only the core updates, but I wish that Google are trying to fight this repurposed domain, because it's a bit depressing when you try to do some traditional SEO and you find that from the SERP, 9 results of the top 10, they are like a church, a local council, health institution, law firm, all of them dedicated to crypto or to gambling or to cigarettes, as you said. And it's a bit frustrating. So Google is trying to update this, I believe, and trying to fix it, which means that what it was working 2 months ago, it may not be working now, and it probably won't work in 6 months. So that's why you need to have different strategies. You need to keep up to date with what people is doing and do a lot of research of what is working. I mean, if you go to the SERPs and you are not there, you need to dig, and it's not as easy as it used to be. You don't go on Ahrefs and find all the links that a competitor has, which used to be like, yeah, I will buy these links because my competitor has them. So now you need to do very deep researching on how people are doing things and be able to read their code, be able to... it's much more complex than what people think. They say, oh, repurposed domains, they are killing it, let's do some.
Very true. So main things, I think what you said is that not everything is going to work. It is just not. It's SEO. It's very random. Even if we do the best SEO on a new domain, it might work, it might not. Same goes for Parasite, same go for drop domains, same go for anything else that is currently trending. Second of all, it's a lot of work for testing. We need to keep up. I mean, I keep testing everything all the time, and sometimes like, why the hell is this working? I'm not even trying to rank you. I'm trying to break you, and yet you're ranking, and the thing I'm trying to rank is not. So again, but that's the fun part for SEO, is the testing. And I think something that we didn't touch yet, but is the budgets. I tried some very cheap approach in Parasite as a test. Does not work. Cheap does not work. In my opinion, it is quite expensive. Even the cheapest one, which is like a post on a website. Not even buying a website or having a huge partnership where they give them 40% of your rev share, just buying a post and doing proper SEO to it that can rank, it's still expensive. Because in a moment they hear casino, they hear crypto, they hear partnership, price from €1,000 go to 10,000. So what are your recommended budgets, if you can share that, if you even know? Because I find it super random.
Yeah,
and I cannot guess the budget, because every time I try to negotiate, the prices are just anything from 15,000 to 35,000 just for a placement. So it's too much, I think, especially if it can be reported and lost the next day.
Absolutely. And well, in line to what I was mentioning before, not every strategy will work, and it doesn't mean that a bigger budget will work than a smaller budget. Obviously, you always, when you want to go to the minimum, you always reach like a red line. And I have people asking me like, can we just buy a €1,000 domain and try to do this? It's like, well, You never know if you can find a really, really good domain for €1,000. But normally, the domain acquisition, I recommend starting from 5,000 or so. Like for a repurposed domain, something you're not going to make too big, 5 to 20,000. That should go like on the lower budget. I mean, if someone comes and asking like, can we do a whole strategy for 2,000 or for €5,000, I would say no. It's just there's not going to be return on investment. There could be, but because you never know, because this is, as I said, sometimes miracles happen, but normally they won't. Now, if you want to create something really big and increase your chances of winning, like, it's also very different if you want to target certain keywords or you want to target certain others, and the markets you're going to go. If you go to a super competitive market like iGaming, you need to play hard, and we're talking budgets from 50 to 250 for one of these projects, which I repeat, maybe the lifespan would be 1 month, 6 months, but I doubt that nowadays one of these projects will have that. In the past, everything was very different. I mean, I remember when all this started, a company I'm not going to mention, they paid 8 million to a newspaper in New Jersey for I think it was like a 5-year deal. And after 1 year and a half, it got penalized. So deal was on. They still had to pay those 8 million, which probably they were paying installments, but they were getting zero return on investment. I had clients paying huge amounts of money to an existing like newspaper or news website, something around like 300K per month, which is a lot of money, just for the permission to post your content there. And to be honest, in the past, that used to bring return on investment, because you could do a bit of a longer strategy, something long term. Nowadays, I doubt that would be beneficial, especially if we say, as we said, that you try 2 or 3 projects at the same time, and let's say 2 work and the third one doesn't. Getting return on investment on such high budgets in such a short period, it becomes very, very difficult. So going back to your question, I would say from 10,000 for a project minimum budget till 250. That would be my acceptable budgets. Higher, I mean, if someone wants to spend more, I can do it for them. Spending money is not difficult, but getting return on investment on that expense, I think it would be very difficult, and the project wouldn't be profitable. Yeah, what I would recommend for people trying to do Parasite, I would encourage them to do to put a lot of attention and work on the domain acquisition. It's crucial. I mean, it's not simple job. It's not just like I find a domain, it has this domain rating, let's just buy it. There's so many things to analyze. Where are the backlinks going? Is the site still indexed? What is the code currently? Can we use this same code, or do we need to change everything? Which then Google will realize there is actually a change. Then spend also quite some time doing like a proper technical restoration on this repurposed domain, because the site probably, if it was like a local council, if it was a church, it was not meant for SEO. So you need to add a lot of stuff. You need to think about the structured data. You need to consider crawlability. So put a lot of emphasis on this. Consider if you can keep the old code, if you need to replace it fully, or if you can just do some patches. Now, work on the content. I consider that content is not anymore like the big thing as Google considers. They say a lot, helpful content update, build content quality. What I find ruling on the SERPs, it's very poor content, and most of the times it's AI content. But still, I think that since it's an asset that you can control, and we're talking that there are many items we can never control, there is a bit of luck that this strategy works and this other. I would say put some time on your content, create a proper structure. Even if it's a website only with 10 pages, ensure you do the internal linking properly. Create a proper strategy, which actually, once you create a good strategy, a good internal linking structure, that project you can then end up migrating here and there. So once you create a whole plan, it doesn't mean it will work only for one project. You can replicate on different ones, just changing the words on it. And then by the time that you start getting proper traffic, ensure you are monetizing it. So sometimes I recommend not adding the CTAs until the traffic is coming. Why? Because that will help the website ranking. But as soon as the traffic is coming, you need to ensure monetization is happening, because the time of getting revenue for that project, it won't be that long. And yeah, it was mostly focused on the repurposed domain, because as I said, the subfolder strategy, Parasite SEO, I think it's not that much profitable anymore. As you said, when people hear that you come from high potential industries such as gaming, such as crypto, they put the prices very, very high, and it's going to be very, very difficult with a very high costs. It's going to be very difficult to monetize the site, because the moment you start ranking on the SERPs, the clock is ticking, and your website will end up being penalized sooner or later. And that's the most important stuff. Focus on indexation of the site, analyze on a daily basis what is happening, and once a project is finished, keep in mind that you need to start preparing the next one, because that's the way this market works at the moment. You need to be in constant production of the next project, because the current project will die soon.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing with us your knowledge, and I hope you will join our channel soon again.
Of course. Thanks to you, Ivana. Bye.